I was having a conversation with someone, and they said, that we were talking about politics, and I said, so, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they stopped me and said, who? And I went, oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican congresswoman. And they were like, I don't know who that is. And this feeling rushed through my body. Envy, I guess it was. Imagining getting to live in this world, just not even knowing about or having to worry about Marjorie Taylor Greene. And there was a world where that was everyone before she decided to inflict herself onto American politics. But the same person also didn't know who Tucker Carlson was. I was just thinking, it's so important that we engage in politics. That's why I'm making it my whole life mission. But the whole ignorance is bliss thing, it probably is so nice just sort of living your life, not worried about Marjorie out there being crazy or Tucker Carlson. But don't go do that, because then you wouldn't watch this show. And again, the change that comes of our work is super important. But here's Marjorie. Speaking of Marjorie, she spoke in Atlanta and was opening up for Donald Trump. A speech that went so crazy. She was off the rails. She's been trying recently, I've explained to you all, to act a little bit more sane in certain interviews as we get close to the election. And then she just gave up on that and starts posting about how the weather is being controlled by the government to attack red areas. And then she gives this speech. And I saw some people make the point of what a bad political decision moments before an election, days before an election, to put Marjorie out prominently at a rally, reminding Georgia Republicans why some of the ones who are sort of on the fence, why they got pushed away from MAGA in the first place because of the insanity of the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene. So let's go through some clips from this. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. We have an audience that is made up of a majority of people who aren't currently subscribed in terms of our daily viewership. So please do.
People are taking how fed up and disgusted they are with our stupid government that treats Americans like Americans are nothing. And they are marching into the elections this year. And voting started today. Early voting started today in Georgia. That's right. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm doing everything I can with every cell in my body, but I am counting on all of you. I hope you are as pissed off and fed up as I am.
Like, throughout this speech, she would say something. There, she seemed very proud that she used a potty word. I hope you're as pissed off. Yeah, I said it. And then she would do this thing where she would make a point and then she would agree with the point she just made. I hope you're as mad as me. Yeah, that's right. I know. It's a good point. I'm pretty mad. Okay.
It's about time. You should be. Here's what Georgia is doing, and here's what we've learned. I've got one message for the media. You people have totally discredited yourselves. Yeah. And it's sad. I really think it's sad because I actually have a lot of respect for
for the respect for the press. No, you don't. But whoa, my computer just got all funky for a second. I will say, trust in the media is at an all-time low, polling reveals. I think that's misleading, though, because the people who watch Fox News, they trust Fox News. The people who watch CNN, they trust CNN. You watch me, not because, hopefully, you're going to blindly believe every single thing. You feel free to fact-check me on any of the things I'm saying, but because you find me to be trustworthy. The people who watch, everyone has media they trust. It's just we've broken up because of online media and the division in our country. Media where it's all these bubbles instead of one big bubble. Before, do you trust the media? Would be a question that a lot more people would go, yeah, because they're thinking of Cronkite or something, right? And everyone sort of tunes into similar mainstream media, reads similar newspapers. Now, as media has gotten so far from split up into different pieces, and some of it's online. Everyone's in their little echo chamber and broken apart in a million different ways. Now everyone says no because they're thinking the media. There's media out there. When I hear do you trust the media? I'm like, well, no, not Fox News, not a lot of these outlets. But that question's a little misleading. And I'll say, if Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks the press has discredited itself, she's thinking of mainstream media. All I would say to MAGA is, would you really prefer to go to the space lasers, the weather controlled by the government person? Masks and wearing masks is like Nazi Germany. That person, you really find her more credible than some of the legacy media outlets? Legacy media outlets have their problem, but if you're going to go to one of them, don't go to Marjorie, okay? Higher percentage chance she's going to say something wrong, as we're going to see throughout this.
As a result of everything that's happened, and there has been a tremendous amount, we went through a stolen election in 2020.
Oh, look, it took 3 seconds. There it is. False claim.
Oh, we're not going to do that again, are we? No.
What would you do, though? How you apparently had the election stolen from you when Trump was the most powerful person in the government. Now Biden's the most powerful person in the government, but you are going to somehow jujitsu your way out of a stolen election. Obviously, the election's not being stolen, but their logic never follows on that.
We lived through COVID, a man-made virus that came from Wuhan, China, that the Democrats used against you, forced you to wear a mask and take a vaccine that you didn't want in order to keep your job. That's right. They're still trying to tell you to take that vaccine.
It's almost like they want you to stay alive. It's just so weird.
But then they took away your First Amendment. They censored you on social media and took you off because you said the election was stolen, or you said I'm not wearing a mask, or you said I don't want to take a experimental vaccine and put that in my body. So they took you off of social media. Then they took away people's religious freedom because of COVID. And they took away so many of your freedoms.
Okay.
Never forget.
Whoops. It's so funny how she's talking to a Republican state about a time when a Republican was president, but it's all the Democrats' fault. They started that COVID thing so they could lock you down when Trump was president. And then things finally started opening up, and things got back to normal when Biden was president because Democrats wanted to... I don't know what the... I think I went a little overboard with that glitch out example. But how does that make any sense? How did they get away? Why are the Democrats apparently so powerful even when they're not in power? Your state was controlled by Republicans, Marjorie, and you're saying that your citizens were subject to all these things when Trump was president because that was when all this started. I don't know. It's strange. But also, remember when she shouts about, oh, the Democrats, they're so terrible. I'm so PO'd about the Democrats because they want to facilitate a situation not where you're forced to take a vaccine, but encouraged to. That post the vaccine coming out, because of the difference in how many Republicans were taking it versus Democrats, at least in part, Republicans started dying at twice the rate of Democrats in the United States of COVID. So Marjorie's lies have consequences. When she convinces people they should not believe in, in the efficacy of the vaccine, she's actually leading to people getting hurt. And I don't know how you explain that gap was much more narrow, and then the vaccine came out and it boing, Republicans dying twice that of Democrats. Clearly it's because Republicans have been convinced that they shouldn't take it, and more Democrats were. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. And with all of our political differences, I'm just begging you, not because I want to control you, but because I want you to be healthy. So take, in this case, this vaccine, if it's good with your health and all that. And just don't be so weird with your conspiracy theories, Marjorie. You don't have to be so PO'd. You're making yourself more PO'd than you have to be.
About. It's not white versus black. It is not.
It's white versus Indian because she's not really black. Just kidding.
It's not the right versus the left. It's not man versus woman. It's not rich versus poor. It is the federal government versus you. And you want to know, that's why they hate Donald Trump, because he gets it. He got it when he ran for president in 2016. And the biggest crime he ever committed was beating Hillary Clinton.
So true, Marjorie. Plus, the whole trying to overturn the election thing and the classified document stuff and the falsification of business records and all those things. But other than that, beating Hillary Clinton was the real crime. Then this.
What they did in Afghanistan, how they treated our military, how they still treat our military, how they prioritize foreign wars, and all your hard-earned tax dollars over defending and securing our own border. That is treason against the American people. That's right.
That's right. Preach, sister, me. I'm crushing it. Who made that point? Me? Shoot. Put that on a quote board thing. Yeah. So no, Democrats aren't prioritizing foreign wars over the border because, interestingly, do you remember? You know how many times I've brought up the border security bill? That's the most notable part of that whole saga. But if you go back to it, you'll find out that it actually was Republicans, like Marjorie, even though she tried to block all of it. But it was her party that allowed for foreign aid to get through in this package that was going to include a border security bill. But they ripped it out because Trump said, no, don't solve the problem. Then I can't scream about Hannibal Lecter. As Harris has now repeated a bunch of times, because he prefers to run on a problem than solve it. He got Republicans to, but that whole saga that I've referred to so often was specifically during a foreign aid discussion. It was, all right, Republicans are saying it's super necessary to do border stuff if we're going to continue forward on foreign aid. All right, let's do it. We're going to create this really comprehensive border security bill. Right when we came in, we tried to do immigration reform. Republicans said, no. Let's see if they'll do it this time. We're going to introduce this conservative border security bill. It'll be a part of it was going to be a whole package, border security, foreign aid. And the Republicans said, we won't do the border stuff. That got removed. Foreign aid ended up getting passed. It's very interesting. The opposite of what Marjorie is explaining there. Let me know. I don't feel like we've been hearing as much from Marjorie, but when we do, it's not great. I wish that I hadn't. And you can tell me your thoughts in the comments and then get the bonus show. Support the show by becoming a member by clicking the join button below.